my baby boy.
I don't know what. Why don't you calm down? Sometimes I feel like because this is a book that I like to read out loud. Like both school. In school, that before I hated it. And then my teacher taught me how to read. Now I like reading. All of these books and today really want.
Sucks when you're reading something.
Alright.
Even I hate reading things.
Yeah.
So from me to him,
Things that are
what can I say besides you were my best friend over the last 9 years? Through divorce, split custody of Caroline, and me being incredibly alone, you were there. Every nap I took, you were in the crook of my knee, or head in my armpit laying alongside my body. I just sit and listen to you snore while kissing your soft little head. Daddy loves you more than anything, and I don't know what happened yesterday and why you became in such great pain so quickly, but I'm glad you went with God in the middle of the night. Your mommy and I shared all of our favorite stories about you, all of our favorite things you did, and most importantly, we talked about how damn good of a little man you were. You were taken from us too soon. You were taken from us too soon, Winston, and even though your daddy is still crying even as he writes this, I'm happy you're not in pain. But it doesn't change the fact you left too soon, and I still miss you because of that. I love you, my son, until we meet again someday. I pray you find that tennis ball in the sky to suckle on. Goodbye, my boy. Your mom, sister, and I will carry you in our hearts until we are dust. Very stupid little tongue. He was such a good little boy. So just so you guys know, basically what happened yesterday is you guys were here on stream when he yipped. And he was just jumping off the couch. I don't even know what happened. He just jumped off the couch. And then all day after that, he was just... He wasn't himself. He was in pain. He'd get up and like walk 2 or 3 steps and his whole body would just like collapse under his weight. And then towards the end of the night last night, I put him in our bed because I just wanted him to be comfy. And I went in there to change into some basketball shorts, and he looked at me, and then he just kind of like started looking around, like almost like there were flies in the air or something. And I'm pretty positive he started having seizures, because he just started looking around at stuff that wasn't there, and then he would just like plop his head down, and then he started like pooping, and then he started throwing up everywhere, and that's when I started getting really worried. And then Taylor went to take him to some like the emergency vets, and she took him halfway down the hill, and the one that she took him to was having an emergency, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't see him, and so she went further down the hill to another emergency vet, and they were also busy, couldn't take him or see him. But we both thought he was doing better after he had that episode in our bedroom, because he was acting better. So we set up the living room. And we just kind of slept in there with him all night. And I was trying to stay up. And I just kept kissing him, because he kept getting up. He was just panicking. He was panicking because of whatever his body was doing. And he would just keep getting up, and he'd keep kind of just moving around. And he'd walk like 2 or 3 steps, and his whole body would just sway, like he couldn't hold up his own weight, and he'd just plop down. And his legs would be like all weird, because he just didn't have the strength. And I would just hold his head, and just because I think he was having seizures, because he'd do the thing with his head and looking around again, and then he'd just plop his head down. And so we just put him in his little dog bed and covered his head, covered his body with his blanket, and his body was so cold. All night his body was so cold, and he was really dehydrated. And he wouldn't drink any water. And around 11:30, I just gave him some kisses, and Taylor made me lay down because I was like falling asleep while I was standing up. And I gave him some kisses and rubbed his cheeks. And then she woke me up a couple hours later, and then she just said, "Hey, he's gone." And that was at about like 2:30. It just came out of nowhere, man. I don't know what happened to him. We still don't really know what happened. We think he had a stroke and some seizures, or he possibly hurt himself and he had some internal bleeding. But he was only 8 years old. And Boston Terriers usually live 15 years. So it was really it was just really unexpected. But he was my little boy. And he was such a good dog. I think you guys even got to see that quite a bit. But the only reason why I'm doing this on stream right now is because I love them. And I'm not gonna be able to really hide these emotions today, so I figured I might as well just, you know, face them. I'm just gonna miss the absolute hell out of him. He was such a good dog. He was just so relaxed and happy all the time. It was like Taylor's post about him. She said that he's always such a bright light and always so full of joy. He was never a bad dog. He never got into things. He always listened. He was that type of dog that you could take off a leash and he'd just stand right by you because he was happy where he was. Him and his brother. And their sister. That's me giving him a bath because he hates baths. He absolutely hated baths. And I was like, you know what? Maybe if I pick him up and hold him through it. His stupid little snaggletooth. So hard losing a pet. Because even though they might just be such a little short span of your life, they're just such a huge piece of it. And he was such a big piece of my life. He was there for me when me and Danielle got divorced. And he was one of the only things that helped keep me sane. When Caroline's mom would come pick her up, when Danielle would come pick her up to take her away for half her week. He was the only thing that didn't make me feel alone. And we'd just sit and cuddle in bed, and I would hold him and love him while missing my kid. And he would just freaking always be there. And he was the type of dog that could always tell when something was wrong with you too. He'd just climb up in your lap. He'd always be at your side when something was wrong. He was the best. He was the best kind of dog. So Taylor's gonna go later today and go to her parents' house and get a pickaxe and a shovel. And I'm gonna dig a nice big spot. In the sun for him because he likes sitting in the sun. So I got a nice spot picked out for him in the sun up on our hill. And that's where he's gonna go. But it just means every time I get to stand at the back sliding glass door behind me that you can see, I will just be able to look out and know he's right there, sitting in the sun. Never forget you, baby boy. Your daddy loves you very, very much. I'm sorry you had to go through everything you went through yesterday. Honestly, I don't even just know what to do or say right now. Or I just want my little boy back. He was just taken way too soon. My little dweeb. You ever lose any pets, G? It doesn't have to be a dog, just anything in particular. Two dogs and one cat. Never gets easier, does it? This is my third dog. think Winston's been the hardest. Because he was still so young. Mandy, my Belgian Shepherd, she was 13. Roxy was also 13. Winston was almost 9. He would have been 9 in September. God, I'd cut off my own arm if I could have him back right now. The worst thing is, looking at this picture, I could still feel his little claws in my shoulder. I could still smell his little wet fur on his head. Goodbye, my sweet boy. Oh man. What a day.